are trophic cascades? Well, trophic cascades are when you remove or damage an organism's population in an ecosystem. And when that happens, it creates a series of effects that affects every single organism in that ecosystem. So, how do humans impact trophic cascades? Well, when humans hunt or they fish or they pollute, it impacts the animals in the ecosystem, and then as their populations rise and fall, it creates bigger ripples in the ecosystem and then changes how the ecosystem works. For example, in the Eel River in NorCal, humans have been overfishing the larger fish there, and when they overfish the larger fish, the smaller fish start increasing in population, and then the animals that prey on the larger fish, they also decrease in comparison.
Predators are the base of the ecosystem. They are usually plants, but any organism can be their own food, like some bacteria. Primary consumers are herbivores that eat the producers. Secondary consumers eat the primary consumers. Tertiary consumers consume the top predators, eating both the primary and secondary consumers. Within each trophic level, there are different populations, or a group of organisms of the same species living in the same place. Although the populations of species in each trophic level may seem separate, everything in the ecosystem is intertwined. Scientists represent relationships between organisms in a food web and a diagram that shows who eats who in the ecosystem. Scientists can divide the organisms in an ecosystem into a trophic level based on groups based on how they get their energy.
So now let's talk about the human impact on trophic cascades. So in a lot of cases, we see humans are the reason for top predators being removed from a food web. And this in result causes a trophic cascade in these ecosystems. So one example would be Yellowstone, where farmers shot down wolves, which were the top predators in their ecosystem. So in Yellowstone, since the wolves were shot down, there was a trickle effect down all the trophic levels to the point where deer population rose, elk population rose, beaver population decreased, and it almost changed the route of the rivers. So as humans reintroduced wolves, we see how the ecosystem got restored. So in turn, humans in the Yellowstone National Park is an example of human impact on trophic cascades and why they're caused by us.
Trophic cascades are destruction and cause great harm to ecosystems, and by extension, the species living inside the ecosystems. There are things that we, as humans, can do to prevent trophic cascades from occurring and decreasing the eel population. We could start by decreasing overfishing, which would allow the eel population to safely increase in number. An increased eel population would lead to a more stabilized ecosystem because there's a more balanced number of eels and other species. And with a more stabilized ecosystem, there will be no trophic cascades, and the ecosystem will be safe.